Good evening and welcome to the ESCAPUZZLED podcast, your one-stop shop for all things escape rooms, immersive experiences, tabletop and virtual escapes. My name's Corey and with me is my puzzle pal Helena.
Hello, Corey. Hi, everybody.
And also joining us today is Robert Sims, one of the owners of the family-run escape rooms Pirate Escapes in Whitley Bay, which opened back in December 2015 and hosts Mutiny, Captain's Vault, and Space Pirates, then further expanding in September 2023 with Northumberland Escape Rooms in Morpeth, which now has The Matter of the Hatter, Stolen Magic, and their latest game, Murder on the Morpeth Express. How are we doing today, Robert? You well?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It is very warm, but we're doing good.
It's a bit hot out there today, but
Yes, slowly melting, which is not normal for the UK, to be honest. I guess at least for both of us, the warm weather's beneficial, obviously, with you guys being in Whitley Bay, and I mean, across the Tyne. So it's nice to be on the coast, at least.
Oh yeah, totally. It's a nice day. It's probably not a great day for escape rooms inside, but generally where we are, it's pretty nice.
These are the kind of days that make me eternally grateful for escape rooms with aircon.
Oh, that is true. We've got some aircon fans in most of our games now, and they are definitely vital over the summer. Although our building is extremes one way or the other, though it's either freezing cold or boiling hot. There is no no in between.
We used it as like a selling point during the last heat wave. We were like, our escape rooms are air conditioned, and then in little brackets on the photo, I was like, yes, we are using this for marketing now.
I saw a lot of cinemas doing that as well. A lot of cinemas were like, air-conditioned cinema room.
Yeah, I think you see a lot of it abroad and stuff as well. Like we've done loads of games abroad, and that is always on it, as whether they're air conditioned or not. So it is actually an important point of its all.
It is a necessity. I mean, even on the coldest days, I'm sweating, blitzing around rooms. So it's very much welcomed.
I don't think it was as much of a problem as like it is now, especially the last couple of summers that we had. We were like, we need to start to put in air conditions in rooms, and like the rooms are normally more air conditioned than the office, which I'm quite jealous about.
All for the customers.
One of the issues, though, is theming and hiding aircon units, which I've seen a lot of very creative hidings of aircon units over the past few years in pictures and in escape rooms.
Yeah, we're Space Pirate one. We just put like a big event coming out of it and make it just part of the game. It's on a spaceship, it's fine.
We were like, this kind of does fit a lab, so we don't have to hide it as much.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like it could be like a PC tower or something, but with the study, we've hidden it behind curtains. So I was like, you are too big. It's fine. They're instructed before the game, don't look behind the curtains. There is nothing but a window, and it's quite disappointing.
And a wizard operating the entire game.
Yes, and of course the wizard.
Excellent. So one of the things that we like to do on the ESCAPUZZLED podcast is to go through an escape room player profile with our guests, which essentially is just a quick fire round of questions to let us and the listeners get to know you as an escape room player and enthusiast. One of the first things that we like to check is what you're like in an escape room. A little while ago, we put up a blog post about the different stereotypes that we think are in players in escape rooms. That's things like the explorer, the scaredy cat. There's a multitude of different stereotypes. Which one would you say you most are in an escape room?
I think we were going through this the other day with the rest of the group. I think I'm definitely the leader, 100%. I think everyone chucks me forward for everything, so I'm usually happy to do it as well. Anything that involves someone getting more involved or getting locked away or who's in charge of the radio or anything like that always ends up coming to me. I was the person to try and push us forward. I think reading that blog post, between everybody, like the 7 of us involved, we pretty much cover most of them stereotypes. Like when we're all play a game together, it is absolute pandemonium.
I think it's best to have a mix, though, isn't it? It's best to have a few of each.
Very true.
If everybody was a scaredy cat and you're playing a horror game, you're in trouble. But if everyone's an explorer and you can't really get through a room without just looking at everything that's pretty, you're also in trouble.
Yeah, very true. I think my brother Daniel, he's definitely the competitive one. He wants to know the fastest times. He sets his own timer. He's on another level of competitiveness, and we're just like, we're just here to have fun, man. It'll be good. Like, we'll just go in, we'll get it done. Like, we want to get everything through. But then my wife Edwina, she'll just be always reading everything. She won't miss a trick. She's just everything has to go one bit at a time. We'll look everywhere one bit at a time. She'll read everything through, where I'll just skim it and then just go, right, this is what we're doing. You go look at that. You go look at that. And it is quite good fun.
I am very much also incredibly competitive and also skim read things and miss very, very important stuff.
Definitely. We do plenty of overthinking as well as usually Daniel's problem with his competitiveness. He wants things done and he wants it done quick, but then he'll just start making up his own puzzles if he doesn't find one quick enough. He's done some ridiculous things in games.
When we played your room over at Northumberland, when we played Stolen Magic, I got caught up on the very first puzzle because my brain was just like, oh, we've got to do this and that, and then I've got to find the square root. And no, it was way easier than that. And it cost us 10 minutes, and we ended up being, I think, 4 minutes behind the fastest time when we finished. So it was incredibly frustrating to have got hooked up on that at the very start.
People do get hooked up with that puzzle at the beginning. We try and put like an easy puzzle in to ease people into it, but people do definitely overthink it. I think it's because it's quite a lot of look out when you first go in, and there's a lot you can see all in one go, and I think that sometimes distracts from the actual puzzle, which is fairly straightforward in that one.
100%.
I think we already know the answer to this question, but we've got to ask it anyway. What is your favourite theme?
See, I would definitely say for us, it's got to be. I do play a pirate game when I see one. Like there is
What?
one there.
No way.
No way.
It's such a shock, I know. But I think with themes for me, I try and go for the most different ones that I can find. We do a lot of games and we travel all over the place and do them as well. And like we look for ones that I haven't seen before or are going to be like a bit of a twist on something. Seeing that, I think any theme can be done really well. There isn't any that I would really say like I would avoid, but I tend to go for the ones that are a bit different. Like recently we did a one in Poland and we did like a plane crash one, and that was really cool and very different. It was basically, I don't know how much you can get away with it with health and safety is a bit off on that one, but it was a great game. Like the puzzles weren't anything amazing, but it looked like a plane inside, and then you got into a cockpit, you had to try and land the plane that I don't know if I want to give anything away about the game or not, but like basically that goes wrong. But then when you come back into the main room, it's all filled with smoke and it's like it's crashed and they've trashed the room and everything. And it's like, it was really good fun. Just something totally different that like they've done really well with it. But yeah, definitely want to look for like a bit more weirder themes and ones that are different. When we started about 10 years ago now, we're not far off. Pirates was a bit of a niche theme. Like most of them were just officers or like a Sherlock one or some like picking like a secret agent thing. And so we decided to go for pirates because we thought, oh yeah, it's going to be unique and a bit different and we can do quite a bit with it. And then now there is a lot of pirate games. Well, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit. I think even me and Corey have gone, oh, actually, pirate escape rooms, there's loads of them.
Yeah.
But I was so happy to see that we had you on because I think I've played all of your pirate games. I haven't gone up to Marpeth and done those. We were like, these are brilliant. These are actually really good games.
It's such a nice, refreshing twist on the genre.
Absolutely.
We've had to get more and more creative because we've rebuilt pretty much every room a couple of times. I think in Whitley Bay we've probably built about 7 or 8 games, and it is about using that pirate theme. And then what can we do with it though? Because we used to have a game called The Brig where it was basically a jailbreak game. That's what it was. It was just masked as a pirate game, like it was called The Brig. We separated people up. They had to like reunite and then move all four together. And then even the Captain's Vault is like a heist game, really. We've sort of played with the theme a bit, quite a lot over the years. Space Pirates is the loosest link we have ever done, though. You can tell we went a little bit crazy over lockdown and just wanted to build something different.
I wish NASA would classify their astronauts as space pirates instead of astronauts. That'd be way cooler.
yeah, technically like trying to rob a spaceship-ish, like it's sort of there, but yeah, it was basically we just wanted to put loads of tech in a game. Like we had loads of good ideas and we just wanted to do it basically.
I remember me and my husband came and did Mutiny and The Orient. Your mum's such a softie, by the way. Absolutely lush. And we were just generally talking, do you know how you run escape rooms? Everybody in the escape room community is absolutely lovely. And I was like, so what have you got coming next? And she was on about the fact that you guys are building this new room. And I was like, oh, can we have a nosy at it? Because the little game designer room, we can't help myself. And she was like, oh, go on then. And to walk into that room, it wasn't even a finished game at that point. It was just like the idea of a game was in there. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I love the fact that you've used like takeaway containers to give your walls texture. Like that is brilliant.
It's definitely a sellotape together spaceship if you're looking at that. And when it all comes together, we're really happy how it's come out, but it does look like something off like Red Dwarf or something. Like it's very much stuck together as sort of spaceship.
It's crazy. The effect that you guys have made. When I initially stepped into the first part of the room, I was like, oh, no way. Some of this is cardboard.
Yeah.
And then we stepped into the second part and it just expanded so big, and I was like, no way, this is crazy.
And the way you've added like textures to walls with just wiring.
Yeah,
Oh,
loose cables and all sorts. We got
yeah.
loads of just old PC parts and everything. It was just like, yeah, we're just going to put loads of stuff everywhere and then take bits away that we think just looks ridiculous. But yeah, especially when you get the lighting right in that game. I think lighting it all with all the LEDs and everything like that, it just basically just feels like a stereotypical sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
Even the screens and stuff, we've looked at other like sci-fi sort of interfaces that you would see and try to mirror that a little bit. And it hopefully feels like people are on the computers, they're trying to like do stuff with the spaceship that way, and there's lots of things going on.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Even just like my little sneak peek, and I was like, well, we're gonna have to come back when it's open. And it was finally open. I was like, okay. Even echoed through the room. So we do like to big up escape rooms that we enjoy on this podcast. So we will.
I'll take it. Thank you very much.
I really enjoy the way that other people build games, because you can either ask somebody to build a game for you and it's brilliant and looks great, or you can build it yourself and it's just a totally different thing. You've made it, you've put your own stamp on it, and you can absolutely enjoy standing in a room, and I can just feel it. Yeah, I can see how he's made that, and I understand how it's made, but also it looks really cool if you weren't like sort of pulling it apart and looking at how it was made. The impression of it's absolutely brilliant. I can't help myself. And I was like wandering around going, oh, there's a keyboard on that ceiling. Like, it's very fun.
We love building them. I mean, that is definitely our passion. Like, people do buy games in that are really good and everything. That's absolutely fine. Like, you know, hats off to whatever way round they want to do stuff. But for us, our passion is definitely building games that we would love to play. As we always say when we get close to finishing a game, we would love to play this game. It's just like, it's exactly what we want it to look like. It would play how we want it to play. But it is about coming from that enthusiast point of view as well. Like, we are escape room enthusiasts. We play, you know, hundreds and hundreds of games. We love them. We want to create something that other people are going to love. There's nothing better when they come out and they're like, oh, that was brilliant, that we had such a good time. And this is totally worth it at that point. Like, it definitely is.
Yeah, I always wish I could forget to leave Lumley and never play it and never have looked after it and just delete it from my brain.
Lumley, it's such a good game. It is really good. We loved it when we come played.
It was the love of my life for a few years. It was the bane of my life and the love of my life. But that's gone through a few different changes to make things just work better for like tech wise. But it's a pretty solid game. It's ran really well and it still books out every single Saturday. Like, I went back and I ran a game and was like, oh, this is just such a good game. And I kind of forgot how good it was because I was so intertwined with it. But I want to forget it and go back.
So you touched on it before that you don't really have a least favorite theme, but if we had to twist your arm and you had to say something, what would you say?
Yeah, it would definitely be least favorite is probably the right wording for it, rather than something I don't particularly like. For me, I think it is either like a Sherlock or an Office game, and I think the only reason I say that is because of how many we have done, really, more than anything. It's quite a limiting theme. Like, I haven't seen like any ones that have done it really differently, because ultimately most of them are an Office themed game, even for like Sherlock or He's Gone Missing or something like that. And I think it really works for beginners playing escape rooms. It's absolutely fine for that, and I think that's what they're sort of built for. But generally we would avoid them these days. But yeah, I still not really like something I would hate, because I totally see why you would build one, and it's what people expect out of escape rooms. And if it's that first game or they've only done a few, they can be really good games still. But yeah, that's what I'd probably pick as one I would personally avoid. But yeah, definitely there's none particularly that I don't like. Any theme could be really good. It just depends how it's executed, really, more than anything. I've seen really bad like themes. I think the theme is going to be amazing, and then you go in and it doesn't look anything like that at all. It's just like you have to use a lot of imagination.
It's like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory experience come to life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've been in that position a few times when we've gone in and went, oh yeah, this is supposed to be like a horror escape room, supposed to be like full of zombies. So when you look around, you're like, there's not much going on. Just how it goes. But yeah,
bloody handprints on the wall, and that's about it.
The stereotypical handprints on the wall, but everything else is blank, and then just normal office furniture.
I haven't encountered that yet. They're clearly using an office for an escape room and they've used the same furniture. Quite often, well, everybody loves what they do if they work in escape rooms.
Yeah.
I haven't hit that yet, but I can imagine at some point I will.
Yeah, I think it's fairly old-fashioned now to try and find one. We played in like early days when we started doing them. There was quite a few like that, but yeah, less and less now, to be honest. Most people have themed them, and most people have put quite a bit of effort into pretty much any game really now. But yeah, I don't see many office ones these days. We have abroad a couple of times, but yeah, generally pretty rare now though.
So, if I asked any normal person, they'd probably go, "What on earth are you asking me?" But because you are an escape room person, I can ask you this question: what is your favorite type of lock?
Yeah, it's definitely an escape room person question.
Yeah.
I do have one. When we first opened, we had it in one of our games, and I just love it. I love a good cryptex, like a proper Da Vinci
Mine.
Code style. As I
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, same here. Fully
They're
agree.
just so cool. Like we had one original game. I loved it. It has to look like a solid, like metally sort of one. They're just so fun to use. Trying to source them and keep them maintained and running them if they're running over and over again is where the problems come in. But
Yeah.
I do absolutely love them. If I come across one in the game, I get very excited. Like, and I am holding that till I can open it.
Yeah. It looks so fun and so interactive, and
Definitely does.
it makes fun noises. Yes, they do fall apart. With
Yeah.
in one of our games, we have a concrete floor, and the amount of cryptexes that I've just smashed. They're made out of metal, but like the tops popped off them. Oh, we used to go through so many.
Yeah, we had a problem with that the top would end up coming loose and coming off. We made the biggest mistake. We reset it. We had a code that when it come with it, I can't remember what it was, to be honest. But we reset it, and we built a game around it initially, and it was like, it totally works, because in my original game, it's long gone now. That game's I know about quite freely. That game, it was all about the captain's missing love interest and all that sort of stuff. So it sort of fits. But we had a film crew come in when we first opened. We were really excited about it. And then the edit of saying, oh, they couldn't play the games and everything. They were just like, oh, but the one thing to remember when you play the game, remember this word. And it was the code to the cryptex. And it was like,
man.
okay, so that's the end of our first room. That's like literally the accumulation of the first room was this puzzle. And I remember, like, this is way back, but I remember when it broke, like, we had to reset it and everything. And then after that, we had nothing but trouble with it.
Oh man.
It's funny.
We just ask people, please don't take any photos in the rooms, and if you want photos, we'll get them after your game. And if you put notes into your phone, there is a whiteboard available. You don't need to, but if you do, please delete them. And occasionally people forget, because phones are just so accessible, and they'll just take like a photo of like a really important puzzle, which is really cool. Like how it works and
it's
things.
the hardest part.
Like...
We tell people, we say like, oh, please don't take any photos for that exact reason. It's all about trying to like hide some of the like key puzzle bits and things. But then the other side of it is like when people go in the room, they're straight away like, wow, this looks so cool, and then they take a picture and it's just not ideal. But we've got a little bit more lenient with it, only because recently we've had quite a few people who have either put a picture online to go with just recommendation or something like that, and we are proud of how our games look. And getting that out there a little bit isn't particularly a bad thing. We're starting to learn that a bit now, and showing bits of the room isn't the end of the world, but it has to be a bit controlled. Like you say, we had someone who was like videoing on and off the whole time in the game, and we had to go in and tell them. And actually, that one was really weird. It was because they were FaceTiming their friend for help, is actually what was happening when we went in.
Oh my goodness.
which is something we haven't come across very much, to be honest.
They pulled a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire lifeline in the middle of an escape game.
I didn't know that was an option, but we had to say, can you start? Like, we thought they were just taking videos and stuff, but like it happens.
No, oh, that's so sweet.
Part of us just want to let them continue at that point. Just go like, well, you can get some more help.
How bad were they on time? That was the question.
They weren't great, if I remember correctly. I think, they were a bit behind. I think they were about 10 or 15 minutes behind at that point. So I think they did need the extra help.
I hope you charged the person on the other end of the phone.
I know, exactly. I mean, you could start having loads of people in. It's sometimes they might need an extra lifeline. Maybe it's something we should start offering.
A phone a game operator.
Yeah, you can call someone up and they'll help you with your game.
50-50, ask the audience.
Yeah, you only get to use it once, that's it. Like they'll come and help you with anything, but that's it. It's quite a good idea, actually.
Noted for the future.
Yeah, I'll have that, thanks.
Copyrighted now.
We've obviously mentioned a lot of different puzzle types over the past few minutes, but what, if you had to pick one, is your least favorite puzzle? What do you see in a game and think, oh no, not this?
It's hard, really. I think it's hard to describe what type of puzzle is, but you'll probably know. Ones that once you have the solution for it, it takes you another 5 or 10 minutes to actually just solve it, and it just takes time at that point. I don't like puzzles like that. It's building them and designing them. You can see that's what they're doing. Like if you've got a decoder, that there's nothing wrong with using them. But if it's 2 or 3 paragraphs that you've got to decode letter by letter, like
Yeah.
you're out at that point. You're like, great. Luckily, my wife is so good at decoders and stuff. She gets like literally 1 or 2 letters and just like, yep, this is what it says. Great, let's continue. It's just like good because I don't want to decode the rest. But she is vital at that stage. But yeah, I think they're the sort of things I don't like is ones that are just time consuming, just take a very long time, but you know exactly what to do. And you have to keep going with it. I don't know how to particularly classify that as a type of puzzle, but yeah, definitely.
We've written them into games, and we used to have one that was 2 lines of the code might be this thing, and we actually shortened it. We like halved the puzzle because I was getting annoyed at watching people doing it.
Yeah, I think as a puzzle, it's perfectly fine. Like it works really well. It can be really useful to like end a track or bring some things together. Absolutely fine. We've got like very, very similar things. It's just when it takes too long to solve that it's just getting a bit too much.
Yeah, totally agree. In an escape room, we've already gone through your player type. What is your main strength? What do you think you really bring to a team in an escape room scenario?
Probably that going forward sort of mentality with it. Like I'll just get on with it, get involved. Anything any games master wants to introduce, like if like we've done ones where you have to get like costume or anything like that, I am straight in straight away, and it really helps. It really helps with anything like that. It's just like, yep, let's do it. I'm totally on board. Let's go for it. It'll be great. And things like getting separated, because I think sometimes like as soon as people start mentioning getting separated in a game, people are straight away just like, oh, I don't know what I'll do on my own or anything like that. I'm just like, fine, put me there, not a problem. I mean, I have sat for about 30 minutes in a game before waiting for my team to rescue us, and that wasn't as fun. But
oh my god, I'd boil.
yeah, but it turns out we could have got the code ages ago. And it basically it was legitimately something we missed. But part of that was like, well, I mean, he could have given us a clue at some point in time. If we'd missed it, I was like on my own for ages, and it was not quite as good. But usually it works really well because I'm happy just to get on my own. We can move forward and stuff like that. Any horror games, so we do quite a lot of horror games as well. And my wife, as soon as anybody's in the game or anything starts moving, it's like, nope, I'm out. Like, just brilliant at solving puzzles, but she's out at that point, and I'm just like, we'll go see what it is. It's fine. Like, oh, I've got to take this note from a clown. No, bother. Just I'll go get it. And I think that's where my strength lies. It just being like that confidence of just going, it'll be fine. Let's just go for it. It's all good.
Hope you realize that when I do the player profile for social media, I'm just going to put strength fighting clowns.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll take it.
On the flip side, me being a negative Nancy for this entire question section, apparently. What is your main weakness inside of a room? What do you struggle with and let your family take care of?
They'll easily say this for me. Anything that, like I was saying before about not particularly liking puzzles that take a long time, if I have to read anything more, it's definitely my fault. Anything to do with it, like English puzzles, basically, like riddles and things I've got to read through, anything that takes a lot of detail, then I just totally just leave it to someone else. I'm just not good at that sort of stuff. It's just not my strength. But luckily, the people I play with, like my wife, loves puzzles like that. She's all over them straight away. She'll like happily do any sort of like riddles, anything. She'll have the answer straight away. But it works well because that is definitely not my strength. Like definitely more logic, maths puzzles, like all the other type of puzzles in the games. As soon as it comes to anything written, I'm just not good at them. It's not that I don't like them. I'm just not very good at them.
Hey, we all got to be weak at something, and that's also my weakness.
Happens. Smelling puzzles. I cannot do smelling puzzles. Apparently, I don't know if you've come across them before. Basically, match like smells to different things. I just can't do it, and I don't know why I can't. Maybe it's just my sense of smell is terrible, but I'm just useless at that.
I have swollen sinuses and can't really smell anything, so I am obsolete in those puzzles. I literally can't smell it at all.
Yeah, it's why we used to have one, and we're forever changing stuff out in it, but I still couldn't even do it. Like, it was built by someone else in my group, and I was just like, I just don't get it. Like, I can't smell it properly. Like, they start merging together really quick. But yeah, like, I mean, some people get them no problem, but yeah, it's definitely a weakness.
Is not good at sniffing things. Okay.
Not good at sniffing things, sure. We'll go with that.
So, if you could build your absolute dream team, who would be on it? It's going to be yourself and 4 others. They can be dead or alive, or they can be celebrities, or they can just be people that you know in real life. Who would be on your dream team?
Obviously reincarnated, just to clarify. We wouldn't just throw a dead body in a room with you because it wouldn't be much
It
use.
might be a bit of a hindrance, yeah, definitely. Fair enough. I struggled with this answer for a while trying to think of them, but my mum got hers like instantly. I'll add them in as well. For me, I think gotta have a Sherlock in there. Like I think like the Benedict Cumberbatch sort of Sherlock, like in character, sort of that sort of character would be, you know, definitely useful. I think that would cover our basis of being able to do it, and then the rest of mine are more just for the entertainment value rather than anything else. Because I look at it as like teams I would like to come and play, and like people I would like to watch play games. But I've got probably Chris Ramsey. I think like
Oh, I love Chris
I think
Ramsey.
someone like that would be really funny. And we watch a lot of like Taskmaster and stuff like that. So we're thinking like getting Alex Horn in or someone like that as well. On that would be really cool. I'm going to steal one of my mum's ones because if I don't mention it, she won't be happy. She's been trying to get Ant and Dec to come play our games for what, like 8-9 years. She would absolutely die if they turned up. And Johnny Depp, obviously, it being pirate themed, we would love Johnny Depp down. I mean, you know, you've got to aim high. You never know.
Well, if anybody listening to the podcast has any contacts with Johnny Depp or Ant and Dec, please get in contact and get them to Pirate Escape in Whitley Bay.
Definitely. That would be
Make a lady's dream come true.
Oh, it would. She wouldn't even be able to speak to them, I imagine, but she would have a great time.
Just melt. I think I would as well. Johnny Depp rocked up. I'd just be like, Johnny Depp.
So to take us into the main section of the podcast, what is your escape room origin story? This can be for yourself or as a family as a whole. Why did you guys choose escape rooms and how did you get into them?
Yeah, so ours goes back quite a long way. Like we said, probably about 10 years ago or so. We did one as a group of friends. I did one with my two brothers, Daniel and Andrew, and we had a cousin over from Australia at the time. And we basically were just looking for something to do, and I'd heard of escape rooms, and we thought, well, we'll go try one out. It could be, you know, it could be good fun. So we booked it. I think it was Escape in town. I think it was probably the only one that was open, or very few other ones at that point. But yeah, we did that game, and it was the most stereotypical game ever. Looking back at it now, it was definitely plain office furniture, laminated clues. It was all that sort of stuff, but it was supposed to be like a Knight's Realm journey thing, and it was not like nothing like that at all. But we had such a good time. Like we absolutely loved it. And when we come out, we were talking about for ages, and then we started talking about like hypotheticals, like, oh, well, you could do loads of stuff with it. What happens if you themed it and you like made it really immersive and did like sounds and stuff like that? Like you could do stuff like that for it. And then we talked about it over like for a couple of months, and then slowly but surely it was just like, we could though, couldn't we? Like we could do it. Like it would be so cool to build. And it's the more we got talking about it, like none of us have any business experience or anything like that up to that point. We all have full-time jobs, not really related to that sort of thing, other than, you know, we play a lot of games, we play a lot of puzzle games, stuff like that. And then we started looking for buildings. And one come up in Whitley Bay just by chance. We sort of given up looking for a little while because we just weren't getting anything that sort of made sense for it. Like, well, this building's 2 floors, and it's got loads of like corridors that interlink rooms that go then back on themselves. And it's hard to explain the floor plan. I think if you played some of the games, you might have seen some of the floor plan that's left.
It is like Fort Knox in that building.
There's so many doors and so many things going on. As soon as we walked in, we were like, yes, this is it. Like this could totally work.
Looking from the outside of the building, you just can't imagine what lies within those. It's like the TARDIS from Doctor Who. From the outside, it's you go up a single person staircase, and then all of a sudden you're just in this ever expanding room of corridors, and it's like the back rooms.
Oh, it is perfect for us. Like it did just look like offices when we moved in, and we've taken down walls, we've built new walls, we've done all sorts to it. Luckily, like the landlord was so understanding for what we wanted to do. He did not understand at all about escape rooms, but was so just like, we'll go for it, you know, like he was a bit hesitant about it, going, well, yeah, just do it, we'll see what it looks like and stuff like that. And then after we built our first game, we opened up with like a Blackbeard ship game, originally very stereotypical piratey. It's where Space Pirates is now. And that was like quite a big game we built. And as soon as we opened it, we invited him down, and he was just like, oh, what have you done? Like, this is amazing. Like, this looks so different. Like, and basically it was like, yeah, we're going to do this everywhere else, you know? It was like, no, it's fine. So we had a very understand landlord about knocking walls down and building new ones and stuff. But yeah, the rest is pretty much history after that. Like, it went down really well and we just kept building games. We started with our first game and we were sold out pretty quick, which we weren't expecting at all. And we had like a really good uptake straight away, especially considering we spent most of our time just telling people what escape rooms were. Like, we did loads of fairs, we did loads of like leaflet handouts and stuff, and we talked to loads of people. That was literally starting every single time. Well, you know, like Crystal Mazy-ish. Just like trying to explain it from absolute scratch and going, yeah, it's a bit like this. And then once they'd played it, straight away we learned we had to build more games, because straight away they were just like, yeah, what else have you got to do? Like, that was brilliant. And it's like, it takes a while to build on though. They were just dying to like for the next game.
That's one of the main struggles with escape rooms, is getting people in. But the second you get them in, it's like a fish on a hook. The second you've got them, they're done. That's it.
Definitely is. We have people like that Whitley Bay still now, who will come and play our games as soon as we open them. They've played every game we've ever built, and like as soon as they've done it, they do it like the week it opens. Then they come out and they're just like, yeah, when you're building your next one, it's like we've just finished. It's like just opened. But yeah, like we were constantly building, to be honest. I don't think we've ever really hit a spot where we haven't been either coming up with a game or building a game, just because we're not in a city centre, so we do get a lot of repeat business. We get a lot of families coming, we get a lot of people who are waiting for us to do the next thing. As a result, we love building games anyway, so we're always building them. Sometimes not by our own choice, because there was a big storm. I don't know if you remember the storm that we had a few years back. I got a phone call and they'd cordoned off all of Whitley Bay High Street, and there's police cars and everything. And we had to go shut all our power off and stuff. And then I went in and the entire roof had ripped off. And I mean, not just ripped off, sky. And as I was walking down the street, there was bits of our game on the street. And I can't describe what that feels like when the game's just scattered. I wouldn't say all of it, because it was a Forbidden Jungle game. There was little bits of bamboo and all sorts of stuff had like blown out of our game. And then we took a video of it at the time. And it literally, the entire roof was off and we'd lost like a complete game. Like, it shut for quite a few months. Just, you couldn't make it up.
If you think that was crazy for you to see, imagine what other people walking down the high street thought, seeing reminiscence of a jungle.
Yeah, it was quite an experience. That, I mean, it gave an excuse to build a new game, I suppose. But yeah, it was. It's got to look on the bright side of it, I suppose. But yeah, and then we had leaks through to the other games, so it turned into a real pirate ship for a while.
Really ramping up the realism and authenticity here.
We had water running down our walls in one of the games, and it was just like, well, if we opened it, it could just be really authentic.
It's just a bit drippy.
Yeah.
Real sky, real water.
Yeah. We joke about it all the time. We do like April Fool's jokes and stuff, and we've done like an underwater escape room that massively backfired, by the way. We put it out there and said, we're going to build an underwater escape room as a joke for April Fool's. The amount of comments we got hundreds and hundreds of comments going, I can't wait for this. This is brilliant. Like, can we book it? And I was like, well, actually, there's a joke. And they were like, no.
Everybody wants to do the submarine game, let's be honest.
It would be
Everybody
so good.
wants a game that sinks.
It would be good. We've done a submarine game, but not much more. Although we did it in Prague, and they had like a fish tank built into the wall, and it was how they ran the game. They could see through the fish tank. It was the weirdest thing ever. The game looked amazing, though. It was just like a submarine. It was all metal. You had to like get a torpedo from one bit to the other. I don't know if you've ever done any games over there. They are incredible games. Like, they are the best games ever. I know the other one I did there is the best game I've ever done. It's the chamber that they've got there. That's what it's called. It's so good. And they were talking like this about 5 years ago now. We did it, and it's a horror game I've played where it's a really, really good game as well. It's got the right atmosphere. You get clues through like EMF meters, like things like that. I think there's an EMF thing. When it spikes, you start getting clues. So you'll be walking around, all of a sudden this EMF meter will spike, and then it'll whisper to you through this machine. Like, some of the stuff
Really
they did
cool.
is so good.
So cool. Oh, I've got goosebumps even thinking about that.
Oh, it's such a good game. They did like seances and stuff you have to do, and things move on their own while you're doing it and stuff. It is definitely incredible. The ones over there are just so good.
Well, I know where I'm booking my next flight to.
Definitely. There, Budapest. Budapest's got some really good games as well. We've played quite a lot, both of them places, and they are so good. I think that's where most escape roomy stuff sort of comes from, and it's sort of, I think, a clue into where they're heading, and it is just about more immersion and better set design and things like that. Because I did them quite a while ago now. There is ones that are starting to pop up here, and like we're trying to build better games and everything, and they are catching up. That is where it's heading, really, as an industry. Like, it's definitely just getting more immersive. You know, you're fully into the experience when you go do one.
Absolutely. Like, you can see it from just chatting to owners. From what we're doing, you can see where we're going as we're getting more techie, we're getting more interested, and we're pulling real theatre into games. Yeah, like, you can see it in a lot of other people's games. You can definitely see it in Pirate Escapes. And you can just go, oh, wow, this could actually just be a theatre set, or this could be on a movie set. When you just standing in a room going, oh, this looks incredible. How have they done that? That's so interesting.
It's definitely what we try and do, in trying to make them like that, like you are going into that experience. We're never going to have the budget of like Universal or Disney or anything like that. We can't get anywhere near that sort of level. But we do what we can with what we've got as well, and we want to try and give that best experience we can. We want people to feel like, like in a wizard game, that you are going through shops and you are pretending to be a wizard, you're collecting all your items and things like that. Like, we want people to feel like they are part of that experience, and I think getting that right is quite difficult, but more and more escape rooms now, that is their target, and they really do feel like that, and it's definitely where we want to head. I mean, Daniel, my other brother, we're both like software engineers as a trade, so we build all the electronics and everything from absolute scratch, all the coding. Like, we built all our own clue systems and all that sort of stuff. All that's built totally bespoke, but it does give you a lot of freedom when you're building electronics, like the wand puzzle in the wizard. Getting that right and working is quite a fun challenge for me anyway, just a coding challenge, because it's all built from scratch. But it's always good fun just to let our imagination go a bit and just see what we can do with it.
So it's commonly said never to go into business with your family, but it seems to be working incredibly well for you guys. So how does it work as a family dynamic within the business? So what are other people's roles? You've kind of touched on people. So you've got your mom, you've got your brothers. We don't know their names. If you feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to share them.
They'll definitely all want to shout out, definitely.
Go on, give them a shout out.
I'll go through everyone. So everyone that we have involved in the business, we have Daniel, that's my brother, and his wife, Y. They help with the design with me, obviously Robert, and Edwina is my wife. And then between the four of us, we are in charge of like the new games, the theming, the building, all that sort of stuff is all our sort of remit, really. That's what we do. We run games as well. I absolutely love running games. I run them all the time still, but that is generally where our strengths lie with the business generally. Then we've got, you've probably met them, you've got Angela and Paul, that is my mum and dad. They do all the day-to-day running of things. So my dad, Paul, he's been a manager for 30 plus years. He's managed quite big retail stores in his career. So he's definitely overqualified to run our building, but he keeps it running very tight. He does all of our, fire safety stuff. Every time it's involved in running a business day to day, he is all over. He manages our staff. He does fixes for and everything. He's a jack of all trades in our building. He definitely brings a lot as well. And then my mum, Angela, she used to be a nursery teacher for basically a long time, about 20, 30 years again. And she is so good with customers. Like, you can't get a better front of house pair. My dad will be setting everything up in like 2 minutes. He knows the game's inside and out. He's absolutely terrible at playing games, by the way. He will quite happily admit this. He doesn't really like playing escape rooms that much. He loves running it. Like, he absolutely loves being there. He's not that great at playing them. Like you're saying, like, my mum is so good front of house. Like, everyone goes away, like, absolutely loving just speaking to them is usually it. I mean, I've run a lot of games and no one's ever come back the next day with a bunch of flowers, like, to give us. So they come back in for me, man. They're like, oh, I'm just bringing these flowers. They did such a good job with it. The kids loved it. It was like a scouts group thing. They had such a good time. And every man was like, oh, it's brilliant. Like, she chats people for like 20 minutes about what the nearest things are to do, tourist information. She just likes talking to people. I think sometimes she forgets she's actually got to go put them in a game at some point in time. But other than that, she's brilliant at that.
I think it was your mum that I spoke to on the phone when I booked up for my game, and I could feel the passion emanating down the phone.
Yeah, definitely. She's very proud, and she will talk to you forever. No problem.
Which is always welcome. We love that.
We've also got Andrew, who's my other brother, and he is the tech genius behind most of our stuff to do with anything to do with the cameras, the audio, the just wiring everything up. He does that as a job anyway. And so he's in charge of buying all the stuff in, setting all the new game up. He'll come in and just wire the whole room in like an afternoon or a day or something. And then he'll spend the rest of the time like doing all the networking behind the scenes so everything runs as smooth as possible. We'll go around and just basically like mark on walls where we want all the cables to go. And then within a couple of days, they're all there and they're all in. And he just buys what we need. We don't really even ask him that much anymore. We just go, yeah, this is what we need. This is my wish list. And he'll go out and get them from various different sources. He goes around pretty much buying stuff off Facebook Marketplace and all that sort of stuff. He's always picking stuff up for our game about something like that he needs. He's always got a car full of stuff. But yes, definitely. He's a good runner as well. He goes and picks stuff up all the time like that. It's for us, it is like everyone says that as like don't go in a bit like family and business and don't mix them. But for us, it does definitely work. I think we've all still got full-time jobs as well, other than my parents who are retired. Don't ever tell them they're retired because they obviously clearly aren't. They're supposed to be. But yes, everyone else, we all still have full-time jobs. And if it wasn't for everyone being involved, we would have had to give that up quite a long time ago. We quite enjoy, I work for the NHS, and I quite enjoy that. I do software development things for them. And it would have to give that up a long time ago if it was just a couple of were doing it. But it is the fact that we can pull together and get stuff done in quite a short amount of time if we want to as well. Like it's having everyone's different opinions and like you've got that experience there of what it's actually like to run it. And then the different ideas when it comes to coming up with new games, you're not just relied on to come up with all the new stuff. And we really do work together. Obviously we've had issues over the years. We have arguments in meetings. It happens.
That's what siblings are for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, generally, me and my older brother, especially Daniel, we are definitely competitive about everything that there is. But we get on, like, we definitely do. But when we're younger, we definitely fight about everything. But yeah, we definitely have disagreements. It also, it gives you a bit of a layer of honesty as well, because you can be a bit more honest in their meetings and everything. It's not like you're working it with a load of like staff members or business partners or anything like that. Sometimes you can cut across all of that, and you can, if you think a puzzle's rubbish and they've come up with it, I'll just tell them. I could just go, nah, it doesn't work. I mean, they do the same to me, and I wouldn't expect anything less from them. I usually, we map out when we build new game and stuff, and we'll go like and have a meeting and have a sit down and bring my puzzles together. And sometimes it is just like, nope, not happening. No one's ever going to solve that. It's like, yeah, but it's really cool. Nope. Like vetoed. That sometimes happens. But yeah, it definitely works, and everyone brings quite a lot to it as well, which is, has let us expand as well, just because we can, cover a bit more ground with more people. I wouldn't have it any other way now.
I can definitely tell you've read the show notes, because that segues perfectly onto the next question, which is about expansion. Obviously, you guys opened the first site in Whitley Bay, but you then expanded to Northumberland Escape Rooms, which opened in Morpeth, and you now have 3 rooms over there as well. Why did you guys expand to Morpeth, and why did you move away from the original theming?
Yeah, so we were looking to expand for quite a long time, even before COVID, really. It was just before COVID started, and then COVID kicked in and we put all our plans on hold, really. We were already trying to build a new game anyway, so we had to diversify quite quick with all that. After we got out of that, we started looking at a lot of different places, really, but Morpeth stuck because we, like, 2 of us live quite close to Morpeth anyway, and there isn't a lot to do inside, and we go there quite regularly, and it's always really busy, and there's a lot of people around, and there's a lot happening. But if it rained or like just inside activities or family activities, there isn't that much. And I think that's what made it really appealing. We went through a few different buildings, like we always do, a lot of meetings and a lot of almost, it happens. But yeah, I think once we saw that building, and it was a complete blank canvas. Now, I don't think anybody would believe us if they've seen our building, if I showed them some pictures. That room, so if you think like the Magic game is a prime example, that from one wall to the other was just one square empty office room when we moved in. That's what it looked like. There was no walls, no nothing. From one end of the game to the other, it was just a big empty square. And that's what we wanted really to start with. And I think as soon as we saw it and we had these big open spaces, we wanted to try and get like 3 or 4 games out of it. And as soon as we moved in, we basically said we want 3 games up and running within a year, which is pretty ambitious. But we thought, right, we'll open my first one, get that off the ground, and if things aren't picking up how we're hoping, we can put pause on the other games. But yeah, when we moved in, we thought sort of more the sort of style we wanted to do something a bit different, because I think the one thing about Pirates is that it being Pirates, we struggle with some of the games after you've built 7 or 8 of them under the same theme. So it was partly my wife as well saying, like, I don't want to build more pirate games right now. Like, can we do something a bit more different for a little while? Like, and we'll come back to it. So we branded it a little bit differently. We went for like Northumberland Escape, and we went for an Alice game as our first game, mainly because she is a massive Alice in Wonderland fan. Like, it's her dream to build a game like that. That's her baby as a game. Like, it's fun seeing she come up with all the ideas for it initially. Like, we all worked together and added loads of puzzles in, but the theming and everything like that of what we wanted it to look like. And it's a game, when we finished it, we're like, yes, that looks exactly like we wanted it to look. Like, it does look as good as we were hoping it would. And yeah, it just gave a bit more freedom, really. And the same for like a Magic game. I was really hesitant about building a Magic game, and the only reason for that is there is so many out there, and some of them are good, some of them aren't. It's quite hard to get that balance right. So that's why we went in a different direction. We didn't do witches and wizards, collecting potions sort of style. We went for a magic street. That's what I'll say. I won't say it. I'll leave it there with that. But yeah, we tried to do it so it's different shops, and we wanted it to be a little bit darker than them type of games. It's not a scary game by any means, but it feels a bit more gritty, like York Shambles or something like that was the sort of style we were trying to emulate a bit. But yeah, it's mainly just our creativity wanting to do something a bit different. The train game is turning into my favorite game, and it was only because of one decision that I made, and it really paid off. We've done something that I don't think any other escape room has done that we've seen anyway, meaning that there probably is other games that have done it. What we do for our game, we've introduced a narrator. Now, on first thing, a narrator, you'll have them in games, maybe pre-recorded clues and things like that. Not quite like this guy. So our narrator basically is covered a lot of bases, but he plays as if you're playing the game. He's narrating what you're doing as a player, and it's turned out to be such a hit.
That's
so,
really
like,
cool.
At the beginning, it'll say, welcome to this game of murder and mystery and suspense and stuff, and it'll sort of get it started like, I am your narrator and I will be following you through this game. And then as it goes through, like, if you need a clue, it's really early, I'm not spoiling anything, it's not a problem. They'll say something like, the detective suddenly noticed there was a notice board on, like, a timetable on the wall, this might be useful to them. And like, all the clues are like worded as if like that he is just narrating what they're doing, and the hints come from that. And it's just like, the detective suddenly realized that they needed to do this or go here. And then it evolved to like borderline bullying them, but not quite. We got a little bit carried away. So we've recorded loads and loads of audio. And the idea is that we can cover a lot of bases. If we've got someone who's overthinking the game, we'll do clues for that, or someone who isn't really contributing very much. And it says something like, like someone who's too bossy. And it would be like, the other detectives noticed the very bossy player. They were starting to wonder, should they have brought them?
So good.
It just works so well, and we do it throughout the game, and we can wind people up a little bit as well and just say like, quick, everyone sit down, and then they all sit down, just go, yeah, that was fun. Anyway, get on. So we've had great fun building that, and it's been such a hit with people. Like, people have absolutely loved it, and feels like you're not getting any clues as well. You're laughing like along with the narrator of things that are happening, but actually it is just the clues, really. We've still got a projector and we've still got a screen in there like we do in our other games, but we don't really use it for clues very much. We pretty much have enough recorded to cover most bases. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite game we built, and in my latest game. It tends to be a theme, this though. Like, every new game I build is always my favorite game. Like, it happens, which is a good thing.
I'm so excited to play Murder on the Morpeth Express.
You'll have to come play it.
I know.
It's so fun.
Really gonna push the boundaries of the narrator and see what I can get out of it. See just how many variations you've recorded.
I'll come run it if I know you're coming. I'll
it's
show
like,
you what
please do not do a handstand naked. we shall see.
For that, but I might now. I just do it. I just record it in advance.
So, if you could go back to when you first started the business and give yourself advice on how you would change something or how you would basically change the business, what would it be? Or would you just keep it exactly the same because you've got a perfect escape room on your hands?
There is quite an obvious answer for me, and I think everyone else would agree with that the way we've been talking recently. Is like in general, everything that's happened to us is either improved our games or if we've had problems, like we've come out the other end of it in a better position. And I don't think I would change anything about how we got started or any lessons learned. But recently we've sort of had this like retrospective look over Pirate Escape, especially because when we come to build our new game, our new venue, we were very much like, okay, what went well in that one? What could be improved? What bits do we want to take from it? You know, starting from scratch, that exact question, what could we do differently? And the majority of it is pretty much the same. But the one thing we obviously have changed is our name. So it's very easy to sit here on this side and go, Pirate Escape. It's pretty restrictive there, isn't it? It's like, yes, it is. Totally agree. So I would be a little bit open with my name. And I think we're learning that anyway, really. Like you say, Space Pirates was the first sort of touch into that world of saying, we're Pirate Escape, we have pirate games, but you also have other games. And it seems really obvious now, but when we started, we didn't know if it was going to do well. We didn't know if it was going to take off. We were just there to build a fun game and have people to come play it. And it obviously did take off, and it's turned into this like substantial business. And now we have two venues. It's now into that position where it is like we have to think a bit wider and be like, yeah, we will be doing different games and things like that in the future. And I think that's probably the only thing I would probably change is maybe like market my name a little bit different.
I'm really excited to see new rooms get put into Pirate Escape and just how loose the connections get.
Yeah, it's gonna get creative.
But also, like, it's not putting you in too much of a box because you are in Whitley Bay, you are on the seafront. Like, of course, there's going to be a pirate game in there, but I
Yeah.
still feel like the Pirate Escape, it still works with your venue, still works with where you are. It doesn't have to put you into that box.
Yeah, definitely. Like our whole building is themed like that, and we obviously do really well. Like we do really well out of it. We're really busy, and I think being near the seaside and stuff like that, people expect that sort of piratey sort of theme, and with families and stuff as well, they absolutely love it. And I think we will always still have pirate games, and that is what we're slowly learning. Really, is saying like, we will have pirate games, we will still have pirate games, but we may build something new or something a bit different off the back of doing the Northumberland games. And I think you're right. I think it hasn't, really stopped us from doing anything, really. But yeah, I don't think I would change pretty much anything else, really. It's turned out better than we would have ever expected, to be honest. We're very lucky to be in the position we're in, and we don't forget, we are very lucky to be able to build these games and have that sort of creativity, and like, I absolutely love it. It's like a dream career for me because I love puzzles, love playing games, everything like that. I love speaking to enthusiasts when they come. I end up speaking to them just like we're speaking now for like hours on end about games, and I end up having to chuck them out eventually because like it's just like, if I don't let you leave now, like it'll be here all night.
Nothing like an escape room lock-in.
Yeah, it's we've had some late nights just to people just come in and then sit down, and then like we've got quite a comfy reception. People just seem to stay, and then we just chat to them for ages.
Yeah, those Chesterfield sofas are super comfy. There's been a few games where I've like sat waiting to play and I'm slowly falling asleep in those sofas.
They were a good buy, them, definitely.
They're so comfortable. I was actually going to say the exact same thing. The chairs in reception, though.
My dad would agree because if there's no bookings, there's occasional naps happen. He won't be mad I've said that at all. He quite admits to it. He's not bothered.
On the topic of obviously building and expanding, if you were given an unlimited budget to create a room, what would you build? A lot of our guests in the past have gone ridiculous and outlandish. Some of them have said zero gravity rooms. Some of them have said they'd put bees in a room. Some of them said that they'd buy Fort Boyard and helicopter people in. What would you do if you had an unlimited budget?
Yeah, I feel like I get on with these type of people. I think I would get it would get further and further into insanity, I think, slowly. But I think for me, on a more sensible level, I would just love to put like loads of money into games to make them look absolutely amazing, not have any need to make money off them. We always talk about if I won the lottery or something like that, that's what I would spend my money on. My games would look absolutely amazing. I would have no care how much they made, like no care how many people come in. I mean, like everyone who's in this industry know, like we're not in it for the money, you're in it because you enjoy it, and you know, we make it sustainable and it can pay for itself. But having an unlimited budget, however, like you could build all sorts. I'd spend all my time probably buying franchises. I would want to buy things like Star Wars or Stranger Things or like actual Harry Potter, and build them. That's what all my money would go on. Like, we design them just for fun all the time, bits and pieces like a Back to the Future game, and all them sort of things would be so good if we could get away with it. You could do all sorts of fun things with it. But yeah, I think my unlimited budget would go mainly on that. Although I did have a really crazy idea over lockdown, and if I had enough money, it could totally work. It makes no financial sense whatsoever, but it would be so much fun. So what I wanted to do is buy a load of like emergency vehicles and camper vans and all sorts of stuff like that, and set them all up in a field and do like an escape room like that you could move to, like, I don't know, like a festival or like an event, and you could set it all up and it would be like an emergency site. I thought you could do it like zombies potentially, and your game would be basically you would go from vehicle to vehicle. Like, I've seen like mobile escape rooms and them done in like prison vans and all that sort of stuff, but I'd talk about like having about 6 or 7 different vehicles, and you would move between them, and the whole game would get bigger because you'd have to go into like the ambulance and get some stuff out of that. Then you'd have to go into the camper van and steal more stuff out of that, and it would all come together around, like, say, a campfire or something like that. And it would be great fun to get it to work. I have no way of making it work because you would need so many things that would have to happen to make this work. But unlimited budget, I would definitely build it.
If you could figure out the logistics behind that and make that game, I'd quite like to play it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're sold.
I think merging escape rooms and sort of RPGs in that sense would be crazy.
Definitely.
Going into an ambulance and getting supplies and patching up a wound and those kinds of things would be super cool to see.
Well, we did like a 60-player game a while ago, and we did it in Canada, and it was so much fun. It is so complicated to organize. Like, we spoke to the organizers of it, and it is so complicated.
It sounds ridiculous. Hopefully it's
totally
not
worked.
confined to a room.
No, it's not. It's confined to a lot of buildings, and it's like the big area that it runs in. Although we were put with, I think it was like 4 Americans who were traveling up to play it, and they were definitely like them escape room enthusiast people straight away. How many games have you done? What's your escape rate? And all this sort of stuff. And we just let them go on for ages, because at this time, obviously, we'd had Pirates a long time, and we owned them. We'd done hundreds of games, but the way they were talking was just like they were like the best of the best. They were here to be the best, and they were like, kept asking about our escape rate. Like, I was like, how do I know my average escape rate?
You don't have a spreadsheet that tells you
get your spreadsheet sorted.
Everyone's got a spreadsheet. Yeah, that is true. I really don't. I wish I did. Now it's gone too far. Like, I don't know how I would track all the ones I've done. But yeah, we told them we owned one and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, right, you're owning a escape room." It's like, yeah, we do. We've done quite a lot as well. And then they sort of like just got a little bit quieter. Just maybe they know what they're doing. But it was really good fun. They were actually canny once we started doing it.
I mean, all right. This isn't sponsored or anything, but a perfect way to track your escape rooms is through the app Morty. If you've not heard of it, It's absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of our listeners and a lot of enthusiasts use it, and it's a fantastic app.
It is really good. Yeah, we've started. My brother Daniel, he uses it all the time. He's used it for a while, but I've started using it. All my ones going forward, I've tracked. But yes, I'll start building them up. I'm trying to like fill in the blanks when I remember ones and just add new ones.
It's so difficult to back catalog.
It really is. It's really difficult, definitely.
But it's even like there's Escape the Room as well, and also escape rooms get awards from them. And I really like them. Like, you guys probably have them, and like they'll send you a thing of being like, you were in the top 5 escape rooms rated on Escape the Room. And I'm always like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you for the certificate that I can put in my reception.
Never too old for a certificate.
Oh, I'd have anything like that. It's great. We get a few of them through different things, like on and off. They are fairly rare when we get them through, but they are great fun. It's just like, oh, you've been like nominated in this list and you're on like the top 10 or whatever. It's like, brilliant. This is great. Like, and they send you a certificate, and I am so excited. It's just like, I don't know what it is, but I'll have it. It sounds great.
I used to love the TripAdvisor one, and it's like, you're rated 5-star on TripAdvisor. We had it from like 2016, 2017, 2018. 2020 didn't happen, so
2020 doesn't count.
You'll see a trophy in Northumberland, and it's a certificate of excellence, right? No, they don't do trophies. They do when I'm finished with them, because my dad was adamant he wanted a trophy. And he was just like, well, why don't we get a trophy? It's a certificate of excellence. Like in Whitley Bay, we're the top attraction and everything. And I was just like, yeah, but they don't do them. So for Christmas, I got him a custom-made trophy that had Certificate of Excellence written on.
Oh, no
I
way.
think it's like 2019 or something, and he absolutely loved it. So that is in pride of place, like we've won some big awards. It's true. It's not a lie. It's just, the actual trophy might be a bit more.
That definitely got you nominated for Son of the Year.
Yeah, he absolutely loved that. It was funny.
That's
Now
so
it's pride of
sweet.
place.
So what are your plans for the future of Pirate Escapes, Northumberland Escapes? Obviously, Northumberland Escapes is your new baby. It's taking all of your time at the moment. But what is your next thing? Or can you give us any teasers to your next thing?
Yeah, I think I definitely can. So we're always looking to expand. I think doing Northumberland has proven that we can do it. And I think it was a big risk to take to say, like, we're extending ourselves to a whole new building. It's like doubling a lot of our effort. But it wasn't quite double when we did it. A lot of stuff we could reuse, like our clue systems thing. We weren't starting from scratch this time. So we have learned that we could do another building, and I think we would always be looking to expand to another building at some point in time. More shorter term, we are building a new game at Pirate Escape at the moment. I'm actually building it this weekend. It won't be finished this weekend, just make that very clear. But we are starting the build this weekend. We're building a horror game.
Yes! Yes. Love it.
It's the first horror game we've ever built.
I'd heard rumors, and I was like,
Yes.
oh, please.
So, okay, I can say that is official that we're building it. It's happening. The exact theme of it may change a little bit, but at the moment, it's going to be very much like a seance gone wrong sort of idea. That is the
Ooh.
sort of thing. Investigators have gone in before you, and things have gone very wrong, and they've unleashed something, and you have to go solve that, is the idea at the moment. It will involve quite a lot of different things at this point. So I can give you a little bit teaser of the puzzles, but these might not be the puzzles when we actually end up building them. Just that's my caveat to say, like, we have some ideas, and I don't know whether we go too far or it's not far enough or somewhere in between. So we're going to separate people up potentially and send 2 people in on their own, or just one person, depending how the split of the team is. And they'll have to go rescue them first before they do anything in the rest of the game. And we also might have a coffin that might come into play.
Ooh.
Coffin.
Yeah, like, you know how like a fridge light works?
Yeah.
We thought of doing a puzzle, and I don't know whether it's too much or not, that you'd have to get into this coffin and close the door, and then it would light up, and you would be able to do something. Now it's shut, and it would be big. The way we're designing it would be way bigger than like a really confined space. But I just think it would make a cool puzzle. I just think that might traumatize people, is my worry.
Helena will attest this. This is a puzzle idea that I've also had, but it wasn't in a coffin. It was a mortuary-based escape room, and it was a mortuary gurney. You know, the fridges that open up? That closed, and then when you get inside, the UV lights come on inside, and you can see the puzzles.
Yeah, actually, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, you're equally as crazy as me, apparently. We're all crazy.
Yeah, I'll take that as approval.
It's Forbidden Corner in North Yorkshire. So they have like a crypt area, and every time I go there, I go, oh my god, this would make such a cool escape room. I want this whole place.
I do that everywhere.
Yeah. But especially in the crypt, so they've got a coffin that reacts on you stepping out of the coffin, so you can like lie in it. So it's like kind of propped up against the wall, and when you step out, the lights go on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is such a cool thing.
Cool. we haven't been. We've been meaning to go for ages. We know quite a lot of people who have been. So we might have a family trip out that way soon.
You don't even need kids, just go. Like,
yeah. Well, my brother Daniel, he's got a 3-year-old. She's called Chloe. She would absolutely love something like that, like running around. Maybe not the crypt. We might leave the crypt out, but generally, like that sort of thing, she would love.
Well, it's just like a really interactive maze. And I went as a child and I went as a teenager. And actually, we were kind of doing a loop of the UK on our honeymoon. I was like, do you want to go to the Forbidden Corner? And my husband had never been before. And he was absolutely just like, well, we've got to come back here. Like, how cool is this? Like, opening doorways and like squeezing through cracks and like, oh. And there's a whole maze element to it that's full of like spiders, and there's a castle, and there's a witch as well. Like, oh, it's like an acid trip.
Good. It sounds somewhere I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to go until you said spiders, and now I'm apprehensive.
It's only one really big one.
Oh, well, I mean, that's okay.
But also, I went around Halloween, so it might have been there just for Halloween.
Okay, fair.
True.
But they had like singing skeletons a couple of years ago, and I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, so we're going to take a crack at it now. We're going to try and make a horror game, and I hope it works out as well as I've got it in my head at the moment, but we'll see. Instead of doing like crawl spaces, we're going to do like ones where you have to stand up and, like American crawl space that you could like stand in and like walk sideways through. We want to try and build spaces like that as well, and just try and bring everything in a little bit. But hopefully it'll be ready like a decent way before Halloween's our aim at the moment, because we want to open for that sort of season, like back in the September, October sort of time. So we'll see. We've got most of the puzzles mapped out at this point. It's just starting to actually build.
Yeah, if you could let us know in advance of when it's opening so we can be the first people through the door, that'd be great.
Definitely. No, we'll definitely give us a shout. We're always looking for testers and things like that. So
Oh,
I
can
think
we do testing?
finding testers for this game might be difficult. So within our normal family group. So yes, definitely we'll keep your names down for doing some testing for work, because yeah, I think the normal people we use might not want to do a horror game.
Oh, we're here for
Not
horror.
crazy enough. We are
Yes.
fully here for horror. Well, thank you so much for spending the past hour with us. I feel like we could talk for eternity, but unfortunately, this has to end at some point.
Great. Definitely like the invite. I love nothing more than talking about escape rooms. So if you ever want someone to chat about them, you know where I am.
Not a problem at all. I guarantee we will definitely be conversing more because, as I say, we could talk all day.
Thanks.
It's been lovely having you. Thank you.
So where can our listeners find you? Do you guys have social media? Where are you online?
Yeah, we mostly use Facebook. We just, Pirate Escape and Northumberland Escape, you can find we're quick enough. Same with our websites. We come on Google, no problem. We also have recently started a TikTok page for Northumberland, and that is totally in our staff's hands. It was their idea. They really wanted to do it, and they were like, "Oh, can we make some videos and stuff? It'd be so fun." And I was like, "Just go for it. Let's see how this goes." Like, I don't have a clue. So they're going to take the lead on that. So they might some videos coming out. I have no idea what they're going to look like at this point, but yes, we can be found on there as well now.
Sounds risky.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you so much. As always, if you do want to check out our previous episodes, you can head yourselves back and listen to all of the incredible guests that we've had on so far. And if you are enjoying the podcast, please do remember to leave a review or a rating on either Apple or Spotify, as it really helps us reach further listeners and more enthusiasts just like yourselves. If you haven't already, tell all of your friends and your family and fellow enthusiasts all about the podcast, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.